What's going on, Herman Nation? All right, guys, I want to share with you a story. Okay, this is my first time going to Florida, my first plane ride, and my first time meeting a pedophile who's highly, highly dangerous. And we'll get into that later. Okay. Now, a lot of you guys, you ask about the modeling agency, like if I ever met weird people. This was by far the weirdest, craziest, probably deadliest person I've ever met, but I didn't know it at the time. Now, I was going to the airport. My girlfriend at the time was going to school in Florida, so I went to go see her. And so, I'm a courteous guy, okay? So I'm in line waiting to go through, and the guy in front of me is dropping his stuff all over the place. So I go over and help him pick up his stuff, and just doing what I would normally do to help someone out and get his stuff through the little X-ray thing or whatever. We go through. He says, "Thanks. Wow, you're a swell guy. Thanks for helping me out." Dude, no problem. I would help out anybody who needed help. Okay. So we're just talking in line, getting to know each other. What's your name? His name was J.D. Worthington. My name is Scott Herman. We talk. We're waiting to get on the plane, and it was kind of an empty plane. So I said, "Hey, well, why don't you sit next to me and we can chit chat on the way down? I've never been on a plane before." And so I started talking to the guy, and he's like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Well, I'm a sophomore in college." This was in 2005. Okay, I'm a sophomore in college. I'm going to visit my girlfriend. I'm doing modeling and acting. We're full time at a gym. Blah blah blah. I'm just getting started in the industry. And he goes, "Well, I work for MTV." And he gave me his card. And I still have his card after 5 years. And this is his card, okay? It says, MTV, Boys Gone Wild Productions, 2121 Avenue of the Stars, Beverly Hills, an AOL Time Warner Company, Music Hub, whatever. Okay, so he gives me his card. Now, I may be from a small town at the time, but I'm not an idiot. And I know that symbol for MTV hasn't been used in probably 5 or 6 years since I watched The Real World when the Red Hot Chili Peppers CD came out. Okay, so I knew something was going on. So this guy starts talking to me, and we're just kind of talking about stuff. And he says, maybe you should think about coming to a meeting with me. And you can be on the Boys Gone Wild. And what we're doing is a Boys Gone Wild version of the Girls Gone Wild, but you guys would be Britney Spears. This is Boys Gone Wild, and you'd raid college dorm rooms and do all this fun, crazy stuff. He's like, all of our models, all of our guys, we give them cars, we do this, we give them money, we take care of them, blah, blah, blah. And the list is going on and on and on and on and on. And, for maybe someone who, wants a hope and a dream so much, they would believe all this stuff, but I'm just like, dude, you're so full of it. But I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome, that's so cool, yeah. It was a 2-hour plane ride, okay? What am I going to do? Not talk to the guy next to me who's clearly crazy, giving me this card and seeing all this stuff? So the more I would agree with him that I wanted to do this thing, the more he would say, okay? So now it got into we have to have you come in and do a test shoot and get you doing some on-camera stuff. I'm like, oh, cool. He's like, so how far would you be willing to go? He's like, I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, if you shoot one off on camera, it's an extra $500. If you don't know what shoot one off means, get a little older, rewatch this video, then you understand what I'm saying. And he also said, if you're going to be on camera and you want to get picked, you should have a tagline you can do. And he started, I forget what he said first that someone else did. He goes, do you have any articles of clothing that you could use? And you can use that into a tagline thing. And I was like, oh yeah. I go, actually at the time, I did have them. My mom always buys me the coolest superhero underwear. So I had boxers that had the Incredible Hulk in the middle, and the Fantastic Four, and Iron Man, and Captain America, and all the Avengers on them. And the Hulk, and this is real, the Hulk happened to be in the middle of the boxers. And if you know how boxers work, there's a hole, and you can put yourself through that hole if you want to. And I was like, yeah, I have these boxers, and the Incredible Hulk's right there, and I can be like, I'll show you girls the Incredible Hulk. And he's like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Okay, creepo 100%. So this conversation got funnier and funnier. Plane finally lands. I exchange numbers with the guy, right? Girlfriend picks me up. I tell her the story. I'm like, we gotta call this guy. So we're in her dorm room, and I call the guy. And when I call, the person who answers the this guy had a voice Earl Jones, Tom Earl Jones, the guy who's every voiceover for Verizon, you know what I'm talking about. That guy, James Earl Jones, yeah. That guy has a voice. If you called this guy's cell phone and he tried to pretend to be his own answering service, you'd be like, James, are you in crack? So this guy, call him, answers the phone, his own answering service, saying he's someone else, and I'm like, yeah, I met JD on the plane. And so the guy that I was talking to, that was his answering service, was like, "Oh man, you met JD. You're so lucky. I wish I could work for him. You're so lucky to have this opportunity. I mean, I'm just his assistant, but you know, you get to like work. Oh, it's so awesome, right?" And he's like, "Hold on one second. I'll transfer you through." And it's like he took the phone and went, "Hello, this is JD. How can I help you?" I was like, oh my god. So I was like, "Hey, what's up? It's Scott, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "Yeah, we should meet up. We should meet up at the airport. Then we'll go to my place, whatever. We'll do some stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, you know, I just got to figure some stuff out." My girlfriend's listening too. Like, I'm holding the phone like this, and she's right here, and she's listening too. And so, like, I hang up the phone, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, this guy's crazy. So I told him I'd call him back. And so I call him back, and, you know, again, he answers, like, as his own answering service. And then he forwards the call through. And so the guy is talking on the phone, and he like, there's music in the background, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm at a club right now." Okay, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Florida. Okay, what club are you at? The guy is, and you can tell, like, you know how a car radio sounds. Okay, the guy is in his car with his freaking tunes cranking, telling me he's in a club, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm in a club, but I'll be available a little later. We can still meet up." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Yeah, okay, dude." And so, you know, he tried calling me again later. I just ignored the call. Me and my girlfriend just ended up going out and having a good time. And that was the end of that, okay? Now, 3 months later, I get a phone call from my girlfriend, and she goes, "You'll never guess what I just saw on TV." And I said, "What?" She goes, "That guy that you met on the airplane, I just saw on the news. He was arrested for over 250 counts of child pornography, four missing teenagers, and had over 14 different aliases." I was like, holy crap. She goes, "It's on Fox News, you have to watch it." So I turned on the TV, there it was, Fox News, and it had a picture of the guy. I'm like, there's the guy. I'm like, holy crap. And so I wish I could find the tape. I know my dad has it somewhere where I was on the news. They came and interviewed me because I called them. I'm like, I sat next to this guy on the airplane, and he said all this crazy stuff, and I'm like, here's his card. And so I was just like, holy crap. Like, and like, now I kind of feel bad because I wish, like, you know, at that age I was smart enough to maybe try and like meet up with the guy, but like have the cops meet up with him with me, because clearly he like had issues. But, you know, you live and you learn. So next time if someone tells me they work for MTV, you know, Boys Gone Wild, and they want to give me free stuff, I'll meet them with the cops, whatever. But I mean, dude, crazy stuff happens, and this is like my first encounter like with anyone in the industry, and, you know, and this industry is so crazy, and there's all kinds of crazy people who will promise you stuff. You know, I just happen to meet like the craziest person. So now when I go out and do stuff, I don't even care who I meet, because I met MTV guy here. So I wanted to share that story with you guys. I was going through my stuff and I found the card, and I was like, oh, I knew I saved this card for a reason. So leave some comments in the comment section. I know you guys got stuff to say, so leave comments in the comment section. And as always, you know, I'll have more stuff for you, more stories for you. Happy Easter. It's Easter this weekend. If you're not watching this video and it's not Easter, you know, happy Easter next Easter, but it's Easter this Sunday, so I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.